Good morning, everyone. My name is Priya Narasimhan. I'm the CEO and founder of Ian's Cam. First of all, a little bit about who we are. We're a company that works with over 200 sports organizations around the globe on a variety of different sports, ranging from the NFL all the way to netball. And we work with these sports organizations on their official mobile apps. A look at how we got started. Well, I grew up in India. I grew up in Zambia in Africa. And I really moved to the United States to do my PhD in electrical and computer engineering. And I'm a faculty member at Carnegie Mellon University. So I fell in love with ice hockey when I moved to the United States. I'd grown up on cricket and rugby and other sports overseas, but I really fell in love with ice hockey and I wanted something for myself. I would go to a lot of games and I'd be too short to see anything. And I wanted a way that I could catch all these different camera angles and make sure that I could enjoy them in the way that I wanted. And I have control over my experience. So, what you see here is a picture where myself and a group of my students, my graduate and undergraduate students, we looked at this purely as a research concept 13 years ago. And what we would do is we'd go around testing how you get different camera angles on a Wi-Fi network inside a stadium. So these really are our roots. We looked at the fan experience from the lens of a fan, and those are the problems that have always motivated us. Well, here's where we are today. Well, we started from our first pilot with the Pittsburgh Penguins 11 years ago, and we're in multiple different countries in multiple different continents. We work with 24 NFL clubs. We work with 23 NBA teams. We work with over 21 La Liga clubs as well as on the La Liga official app. We work with the All Blacks in New Zealand. We work with the National Rugby League, the NBL, and netball in Australia. We're fortunate enough to work with the Wolves in the United Kingdom. And we work recently with the Vodacom Blue Bulls in South Africa. And we hope to have a South American client for the start of this new year. So these are our clients. These are the people that we are fortunate enough to work with. These are the people who make us who we are. These are the people who push us. These are the people who drive our platform forward. Our platform isn't the same 2 years running. We grow in about 30% new features every single year. And it's because of all of these folks who push us, who innovate with us, who really are a crowdsourced brain trust for our platform. And we're really fortunate to be able to have the opportunity to work with them. So let's dive into the platform. So the best way to think about the platform is, first of all, we're on any platform the fan is on. So for us, it's important that we're on mobile, we're on tablet, we're on any platform that the fan is on because we want to meet the fan on their platform. The second thing for us is we want to make sure that our platform is dynamic, that it has these different journeys that are driven by the fan and the fan experience and what the fan wants at a certain moment in time. Fans are different pre-match, in-match, post-match, and the app should anticipate that. Third, for us, it's really important that the app can be customized by the client and personalized by the fan. And I'll show you how. So first of all, our app consists of these things called cards. The best way to think about cards is Lego blocks. So what's cool about Legos? Well, you and I could go out to the store and buy the exact same bag of Legos. And guess what? We'll build different things. And the reason is what Legos really help you do is you take a bunch of Legos and then you can imagine what you will with them and you can build what you imagine. And ultimately, each of us has the capacity to take a box of Legos and make it our own. Even better, we can go out and grab more Legos and they'll play well with the other Legos we have. And so for us, that was our philosophy with this. What we wanted was to build as many versatile Legos as we can. And then to give essentially a builder interface to our clients where they can act as these master builders who put these Lego blocks together and to construct the app they want. So if you look at this picture here, you see the Carolina Panthers app and you see the Houston Rockets app. All the things you see there are cards. The raster images, cards. The video, cards. And cards don't have to be rectangular or square. They come in all shapes and sizes. And guess what? Those shapes and sizes, down to the little visual aesthetics, rounded corners, the shading, the background color, the font color, all these things can be overridden dynamically, essentially through our content management system. So the beauty is you've got these cards whose visual attributes can be overridden and customized, whose placement can be customized, whose sets can be customized, and whose journeys can be tailored to the fan. And that's really fundamental in how we think about our platform. So this is the image to me that really captures the power of the platform. So think of your app. Think of the app that you want to build. Think of all the cards, all the Lego blocks for your app. You've probably got a bunch of content cards, right? So you've got videos and news and podcasts and photo galleries and things like that. Think of all the statistics cards you want. It's probably a match center, the form guide, the fixtures, the ladder. So all these are your stats cards. Now, next, let's think about the stadium cards. You've probably got parking and public transportation, maps, wayfinding, ticketing, all these stadium utilities. And then finally, experience cards. Let's not forget your predictive game, your augmented reality, your virtual reality. Think of all these Lego blocks that you wish you had in your app. Think of how you'd assemble them, and then think of how you would assign attributes to them. So what do I mean by attributes? Think for each of these blocks when you want them to appear. So pretend for a minute you want match tickets to appear only the morning of a match and then disappear the next day. So time is an attribute. Think of location. What if you want your food and beverage ordering card Lego block to appear only inside the stadium and then disappear afterwards? Because guess what? Nobody can order food and beer if they're outside the stadium, right? So another attribute, language. What if you want a different app for Spanish-speaking fans, different app for Portuguese-speaking fans? And then another attribute, let's think of another one, right? What if you want a different experience on a Samsung device, a completely different experience on a Vodacom device or a Vodafone device? What if you want a completely different experience if your club wins the match versus if you don't win the match, because maybe you have a promotion offer for fans if you happen to win a match? What if you want another experience? Maybe you win the match by, 3 goals, and that's a different promotion. What if you wanted that? What if you wanted to give fans who love video more video? What if each of these properties is something you can change at will without an app update through a builder interface we give you? That essentially, in a nutshell, is what we try to do. We take all the Lego blocks you want, we build them out for you. And think of these, we have hundreds of Lego blocks across all of our properties. And then we give you a builder interface where you assemble them the way you want. Every screen of your app can be assembled dynamically, and then you can override the attributes of each of these Lego blocks. And guess what? Out pops, out of one app, multiple fan journeys. Your app can look different for a season ticket member who goes to a stadium. Your app can look different for the couch fan who's sitting at home who's not a member. Your app can look different for the fan sitting in Spain whose native language is Spanish. Your app can look different for the fan in the United States who is the international fan who may never go to one of your games at the stadium. So your app, basically single app, multiple journeys. And that is fundamental to how we think about using these Lego blocks that we've constructed, these cards, and giving you a builder interface to put them together. So we're not content with just the set of cards we talked about. We're building more and more cards on top of these. So think of these as, once you've got your starter kit of Lego blocks, we've got more Lego blocks to add to them. So things like a mobile wallet, bunch of Lego blocks there, bunch of cards. Loyalty program, we've got that. A mobile auction, we've got that. Mobile food ordering, merch ordering, a member portal, augmented reality, free-to-play games, traffic, interactive maps. All these things are additional Lego blocks that play well with the original Lego blocks. So essentially, you've got this universe of cards, these universe of blocks that you can play with to construct the app any which way you want. Well, how do you do it? Well, you've got this journey builder. This is the content management system. So I'm showing you a screenshot, in fact, from the Seahawks app, right? So from the Seahawks management interface. And you can see here underneath that title, which says Manage Menus, you see all the journeys they're thinking about. You see one that says Game Day Season Ticket Holder, Game Day Living in the Pacific Northwest, Game Day Outside the Pacific Northwest, International Fan Game Day, Club Level Ticket Holder, Training Camp. These are segments. These are journeys. Each of these journeys is a set of cards. that the Seahawks have pre-programmed into their builder interface. And then they use this content management system to basically have the app, wait for this, auto evolve. Basically, the app is going through its motions, changing dynamically by time, by location, by type of fan, by member, by non-member, by location, and also by device if we need to. The app is dynamically changing. And that's fundamental in how we think about this. Well, let's take that same example. How does this look for the fan? So that's how it looked for the Seahawks, right? This is how it looks for the fan. So you're a fan on game day. You show up at the Seahawks app. You're given one of 5 choices. You pick your own adventure in the app, right? Season ticket member. You have a club seat holder. A 12 fan, which is a Seahawks fan, living in the Pacific Northwest. So that's your home market fan. Then outside the Pacific Northwest, that's a national fan, not a home market fan. And then outside the US, you're an international fan. Guess what? Season ticket holder gets a bunch of cards. Food and beverage ordering, managing tickets. Makes sense, right? That's what a season ticket member should get. What about the fan in the Pacific Northwest? Home market fan. Well, guess what? They're probably not going to the stadium. They're not the season ticket member. So we don't need to waste space in the app showing them food and beverage ordering. Let's focus on buy tickets. The call to action is different. See, it's not manage tickets anymore. It's buy tickets, and let's show them news articles. What about the international fan? Well, even better. In their case, let's not waste real estate in the app worrying about tickets and worrying about other things. They're an international fan. They're not coming to the game. Instead, let's show them NFL Game Pass so that they can watch the games live. They can watch the live stream of the matches. So to me, this is how you take sets of cards, program journeys for the fan, and then the app is going through this choreography as it changes from mode to mode automatically without an app update. One app, multiple journeys. Let's look at some case studies just to show you the kinds of bespoke journeys, bespoke interfaces that some of our clubs have built out of this platform. Here are some of our league apps. You can see the All Blacks app, bunch of cards, the National Rugby League app in Australia, bunch of cards there, our NBA G League app, and then the La Liga app. Let me dive into the La Liga app a bit. This is an app we're particularly proud of. It has over 100 million downloads, which is fantastic. This is the official league app. La Liga has 42 clubs. So we have both the first division and the second division in this app. So 42 clubs. Bear in mind, the fan has 42 choices to make, right? Now, that's not it alone. So if you look at that last screen that I have up there, that last screen shows you a drop down. You can see it says La Liga Santander, La Liga Smart Bank, Champions League, Europa League, Copa del Rey. So you have all these choices. So a competition selector. So first of all, 42 choices for clubs. And now you've got a competition selector for 5 or 6 different competitions. Well, let's not stop there. This app supports 16 languages. So based on your device's choice, Spanish, Portuguese, Chinese, yes, even Bengali, depending on the choices that you make, the app basically transforms itself into an app in that native language. So again, think of the number of journeys here. 42 clubs, 5 to 6 competitions, 16 languages. And it's not complicated to program these journeys because you're not programming that many journeys. You're programming for each of these individual attributes. And the app just changes itself automatically to be tailored to the fan, to their language of choice, to their favorite team of choice, to their favorite tournament or championship of their choice that they're following. And that's really the way it should be. Right. Here are some bespoke client-driven designs, right? So some of our NBA teams have really taken these cards somewhere else, right? Which is wonderful to see. So you can see the Utah Jazz. Look at the cards they have, videos, photos, and you can see the My Tickets little buttons. You can see the Rockets. You can see how they've done what they've done with their roster, right? With the player roster. And just again, spectacular imagery and how they've really gone to town with the kinds of cards they have. The Orlando Magic app. Completely different kind of roster card. You can see the player full cut out there right next to the statistics. The Cavaliers app, you can see full height video, right? So again, each of our clubs does something different to basically take these Lego blocks, paint them up any which way, extend them, change their attributes, change their sizes, change their visual aesthetics, change the layout. And frankly, sometimes even I don't know they're doing this. The beauty of it for me personally is I look at some of our apps and I can't believe they're ours. Because what our clients have done with them is spectacular. They've taken these raw Lego blocks and the builder interface we've given them, and they've created magnificent sculptures out of them. And these sculptures are these apps and these journeys. Let's look at some NFL clubs. You see the 49ers one there. You see the Ravens one there. And you can see rounded corners, a little message center envelope. Oh, look at the Chargers one. You can see the cutout of the players and you can see their schedule carousel. Something unique there. The Steelers, they decided to go with the dark mode, right? And it works really well with their branding. So, and again, you'll see the New York Giants have a blue mode, right? So you can also switch the color of the app completely, and that's what they've done. And so you can see their font is at play, the colors are at play. So again, it's completely up to the club. We don't even control any of this. We've just given the controls over to the club and they can change the app up any which way. You can see in the Steelers case, live audio's on top. The other clubs don't do that. They've got all these Lego blocks. They can move them wherever they want. Here's a spectacular example of a bespoke game day look that a club put together. So this is the Kansas City Chiefs for the Super Bowl at the start of this year. So you could see what they did for game day morning of the biggest tournament that they have, the biggest championship that they're participating in. They're in the Super Bowl. And you can see the unique look they put together so that they could have the scores and the statistics dynamically updating their home screen takeover, completely composed of cards. And they wanted this custom look just for that marquee game day, which just made a lot of sense to me. But again, I wanted you to see examples of what our clubs put together, not even us. This is what our clubs do with the platform. Here's another example, which I really love. So what the Jets did was they took this a step further to let the fan choose menu options too. So think of this. The bottom navigation where you see it says home, tickets, news, schedule, more, the club programs that. But you see that top navigation there? It says my tickets, video, photos, schedule, and team. And you see that little yellow edit button, the one that I've circled with yellow. If a fan taps on that, the fan gets to choose their top 5. So what is this top 5? This top 5 is basically that top menu strip. Guess what? The fan picks their journeys here. The fan sets the top menu. And you can also tell the fan, thou shalt log in order to set that top menu. So again, if you think about this, right? Bunch of Lego blocks, builder interface, multiple journeys, and let the fan personalize too. And again, our clubs basically take these Lego blocks in the builder interface and they absolutely go to town with the visual aesthetics and the bespoke look. They ultimately are in control of the design, which was really fundamental for us. We want to represent this their way. And it's important that they're in control of the Lego sculptures they have in their mind. Data and the fan. Let's look at some more examples, right? So here are some other examples of cards we built. Here's a fan profile card. So if you want the fan to log in to personalize that top 5, guess what? They go to a profile area. They use a single sign-on, something like a Sports Alliance single sign-on, which we are really tightly integrated with as well. So they use a single sign-on. And as soon as they have that, they can personalize it. They can set their wallpapers. They can change the app icon on iOS devices. And they can keep their push notifications and settings and have segmented pushes. All this really rich stuff can be sitting behind a profile and a single sign-on. That is really the power of the data. The fan has a place to store their preferences. We can go further. You can add, kind of a derivative of loyalty program here. So here's an example for the Cavaliers, their Wine and Gold United loyalty program. You can add customer service there. They can call their account rep directly from there. Virtual reality, a discount card, seat upgrades, discounts on tires. Why? Well, that's their Jersey Patch partner. So that's discounts on tires. There's your discount card you can add to Apple Wallet or Google Wallet. And finally, playoff priority, Wine and Gold Bucks, which is your loyalty points that are given to you back as loaded value, concert pre-sales. All this stuff is completely inside the app. So now you really turn this into a transactional hub as well for fans. Best practices on push notifications. We've sent about 34 billion push notifications to count. That isn't even the coolest part. The coolest part is that we can do segmented push notifications. What I mean by this is that all those attributes that we have for cards, we can turn them into segments. This is one of our most powerful integrations with the Sports Alliance single sign-on. So what we do here with them is take these different segments, identity-based segments, season ticket members, club seat holders, whatever else, device-based segments, whether they're on a Vodafone carrier, something else, location-based segments, are they in stadium, out of stadium, behavior-based segments. What are they doing? Are they watching video? Are they watching a photo gallery? You take all these segments and we turn them automatically into push categories, which means you can communicate to fans in customized ways. So again, step back a little bit here. Not only do we have journeys composed of cards, you have now targeted communication on those journeys. So you can look at fans as segments of fans for cards. You can look at fans as segments of fans for pushes, driven by that Sports Alliance single sign-on. This is really powerful. This is very unique because it allows you to turn your app into a targeted communication tool. And that really is the power of that single sign-on from Sports Alliance coming together with our platform and the cards and the segments and everything else. And as I said, 34 billion push notifications and about 180 billion user action records, which means that signature of fan activity. Utilities. Let's talk about utilities and stadium utilities. Well, again, one app, many modes. You see that little toggle up there which says Rose Quarter and Portland? This is the Trailblazers app. Simply by toggling that on and off, tapping on that and flipping it on and off, you can switch to team mode or guess what? Venue mode, concert mode. So, and a lot of the venues are really dual purpose, if not multi-purpose. They don't just host the club, they host concerts. And they might even host multiple clubs in many cases, in which case you want to basically put all these journeys into one app, not fragment your universe into multiple different apps. So you want to be able to contain them there because that's ultimately what fans want. Fans are not going to install multiple apps, one for a venue, one for a team, one for another team. Consolidation is important. So you want, again, multiple journeys in one app. Here are some of the stadium experiences we've built. I mean, everything from we've got, food and beverage ordering, we've got chatbots, we've got ticketing integrations, multiple camera angles inside the stadium, integrations with a raffle, integrations with an auction, pro shop integration. All of these are things that we've done. A couple of integrations that might be of relevance here. Obviously, we've done ticketing with Ticketmaster. In the United States, this is fairly prevalent. I would say over 60 plus teams and venues have this integration. Notably, in the United Kingdom, we've integrated fairly closely with SeatGeek for matchday tickets for Wolves. So you'll see this integration, and this is something we continue to grow and continue to add on. And again, this goes back to the power of the partnership we have with Sports Alliance and how tightly we're integrated. We've done things like chatbots. Here's one for the Ravens app. We've done stadium maps, interactive stadium maps. We build this whole thing. So essentially, you can take the CAD drawings of your venue and render them into mobile-friendly maps that are searchable by amenity, and you can change out these icons. You look for parking lots, look for the entrances, look for bathrooms, look for concession stands, all those things. We do wayfinding. This is for Madison Square Garden, for example, so you can do turn-by-turn directions. You just have to give your starting point and your ending point, and it'll give you turn-by-turn directions. Also, if you turn on your location services, it can automatically pick up your starting location. So again, this is a great way to also have an additional stadium utility. Monetization. Let's look at a few cases. And again, what I'm showing you today here is just a sampler of the different kinds of case studies we have. If you're interested, we can go into any one of these in more depth. Monetization, food and beverage ordering. So this is something we've done at multiple stadiums and multiple venues. So this is something we've integrated with very different points of sale, different payment gateways. So this is something we have a lot of experience in, multiple years, in fact. Mobile wallet. So if you want to build a wallet capability that you let fans basically use your club app or your league app to be able to pay for concessions, for tickets, for merchandise, and even to transact at retail and restaurants around the venue, this is a great way to go. So in this case, we've integrated again with your PayPal, your Venmo, your Freedom Pay, your Braintree, all of these different payment providers. So you can see that they're all in the app, and the fan can also have loaded value, which means you can decide for season ticket members to add cash into their app. which means they can use that towards concession items and other kinds of things. The Rockets have done a mobile auction with us, and this mobile auction is pretty nifty. So most of you probably have a ton of autographed merchandise and other things that fans would love to get their hands on somewhere in a back room. A number of our clubs have taken that and put that into an auction module that we've built where fans can actually bid on these items. And the beauty of this is the market sets the price, right? That's what an auction is. So fans are setting the price. Fans are providing some indication of the value they place on these items. And the fantastic thing is that we've had clubs where they've run this for 3 games and made $100,000. Another club did a charity auction, a charity art auction. In an afternoon, they made 60,000. So again, this is one more element that we can put under single sign-on, segmentation, all the things we've just talked about. AR activations, we've done any number, and I'm just going to pick a couple, right? So you can see the flavor of what they are. We've done anything from, so here's a membership activation in your home, right? So you get your membership package at home, you scan it, and guess what? Your coach thanks you for actually supporting them through the last season. And you can see this hologram effect where the coach is thanking you for the last season, right? So imagine doing this with your players and telling fans your favorite player is going to thank you for the season or kick off the season that way, right? Let's look at another example. Another example here is, let's look at this one. This is interesting. Coca-Cola can, limited edition Coca-Cola can for the Kansas City Chiefs. So in this case, the can actually serves as the AR target. So you rotate the can, you actually use the can to scan that to get your highlights for the game. And every week new highlights are added and you rotate the can to rewind and forward the highlights feed. So it's kind of nifty. It's gimmicky, but it's kind of nifty too, right? So you can see here that effect and you'll see us turning the can to rewind and forward the feed. All right. This is a recent one, and credit to Wolves. They came up with the idea as soon as the pandemic hit. One way was to bring the stadium home to fans. So bring Molyneux home to fans. I absolutely love it when they came to us with this idea. So what our AR team did was they put together this concept where you're in your driveway, you're pointing to the carpet in your home, you hold it up and you generate a portal, right? And when you generate this portal, I mean, obviously it's a fake portal, right? You generate this portal, you walk through the portal. So physically you're walking, right? You walk through the portal and suddenly there you go, you're in Molyneux. And now we're building out versions of this, which include videos. So can you run out through a smoke tunnel as the players run out? So all kinds of variants, right? And again, it's an absolutely cool idea. And credit to Wolves again for bringing this to us and doing so many cool AR things with us. I mean, I absolutely love how they challenge us and innovate with us on, I would say, a new AR activation almost every other month. Predictive games, we do any number of them. So, these are your pick 'em kind of games, right? You predict something throughout the game. Maybe every 5 minutes, there's something telling you how many points will be scored, how many yards will be run, what do you think is the goal differential? All kinds of things. Obviously, in basketball, you're going to look at the points differential, who scored first, how many rebounds, assists, etc. But you can do it around anything. And in this case, you see that those little things, they look like poker chips. They're virtual poker chips. They're virtual poker tokens. So it could also be partnered up with the casino and be able to be redeemed for actual poker tokens. A couple of other things. We also have an interactive gaming team. And so what they do is they build out all these different kinds of challenges where essentially pretend you're a fan throwing something at a target, right? So you have that there. It could also be done as a penalty kicking. It's not very difficult. And you can see the different kinds of effects we have on this. We've got a physics engine behind it. We can change out the graphics. In this case, you'll actually see sponsorship involved there. That's why this is a monetization use case. So we can do any number of these things. So it could also be that you have an interactive target that really serves the purpose of not just monetization, but it could also be something fun that fans can play against. And finally, thank you again to all those who work with us. Without the folks on this slide, we didn't exist as a company. Without them believing in us, we didn't exist. They make us possible. They make my job possible. They make it possible for me to be here today. And honestly, they innovate and have the most outrageously cool ideas. And that's what keeps us excited every single day. So credit to them. It's their ideas that we bring to life. And with that, I'll thank you and I'll take any questions. My contact information is up there. Feel free to drop me a note if you're interested in any part of this. I always finish up with this picture because this is how we started the company. That was my 2-year-old at the time. He's 14 now, he's a teenager. And he worked every one of the 45 some games with me when we first started this as a research pilot. So I still go back to this picture because this picture is something that I'm very attached to. I would say 2/3 of the team is missing from this picture because they were fans of the team that lost and they would be caught dead with the trophy. So, with that, I'll thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the opportunity. Anthony, Mark, Nuno, Walter, Matt Swindells. It is such a privilege and pleasure to work with all of you. Anthony, thank you for the opportunity to have me here today. It absolutely is a pleasure to collaborate with you. The cool things that we've done together, they're unprecedented in the sports industry. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you so very much, Priya.